a sharp dressed man.
Alright, good morning everybody. How are we doing? We are live. We opened up with Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top. Pony Throat says, it's ironic given the appearance of the band. I say it's how you define sharpness. You know, sir, an Amish dairy farmer can be perfectly sharp, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, at least you're not making Bart Simpson's mistake where you look at a bunch of Orthodox Jews on the street and assume that they're ZZ Top. It's an honest mistake, Mr. Simpson. He also says everybody knows really sharp-dressed men look like Sean Bean holding a musket. 19th century military uniforms did make a brief appearance at the Met Gala. So yeah, let's just get right to the title story. So the Met Gala was upon us. My wife, her employment, I'm not going to say who they drove, but they drove some of these celebrities and she had to watch, make sure they didn't, act up too much. So we had a nice laugh at all this silliness going on. At least they weren't openly rubbing their balls on the face of the peasantry like they did last year. Where they just, were literally saying, let them eat cake. I mean, I do enjoy a bit of cake, but, not from the gentry rubbing their scrotums in my face. But I digress. The theme last year was the Garden of Time. I still say it should have been the Garden of Fear. But, that's neither here nor there. This year's theme was Black Dandyism or something. When you say Black Dandyism, I would have thought it would be somebody like, these Sapors of the Congo, the Republic of the Congo, or Peter Jackson, the Black Prince, the boxer from the 19th century. Ponythroat, I got the reference. I know, I haven't seen Sharp, but I know of Sharp. I literally said 19th century military gear. I got your reference, sir. But yes, the theme was Black Dandyism, and it was apparently not modeling itself on the Sapors of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or of Peter Jackson, the Black Prince, a fisticuffy man from the 19th century. For something that's supposed to be about dandyism, it seemed to be a bit more foppish than dandyish. Okay, time for a little sartorial lesson, children. A fop is, excuse me 1 second, my lovely wife is bringing me some coffee. Thank you. Yes, coffee is good. But yes, a fop is, think like the Rococo period. Lots of ornamentation and men in, wigs and powdered faces and gadding about and all that crap. Ponythroat asks, Black Dandyism, did they go dressed as Dolomite? I wish somebody went as Dolomite. I mean, again, that would have been my go-to. It was not to be. It seems like a really open and shut thing, but they failed to open or shut the door. But yes, they were quite obviously more foppish than dandyish. A fop is a man with lots of frills and ornamentations and, syphilis, beauty marks, and what have you. A dandy is a man who dresses less gaudily and less ornamented, but focuses on just impeccable tailoring and cuts and, sort of downstated elegance. That is specifically what Mr. Brummel, or Brummel, I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm going to look that up right now. But yes, that is specifically how Beau Brummel, I mean, I'm going to just wager he pronounced it Brummel because of England's ongoing inferiority complex towards the French. They would pronounce it more French. But yes, Beau Brummel sort of bitch slapped the foppish thing, the macaroni thing, by focusing on the ditto suit, the evening suit, being less frilly and frou-frou-y, and more properly tailored and, just on fleek, as they say. They apparently did not get the message of what a dandy was at the Met Gala, because there was quite obviously more foppish. Once again, this proves the fact that I myself should be a, swaggering aristocrat, but I've yet to have the money for it. I have the charm, the elegance, the taste, the talent, and the savoir-faire to be a aristocrat, but I don't have the funds to do so. And meanwhile, the quote-unquote aristocracy of today has no taste, no elegance, no savoir-faire, no je ne sais quoi, but they're paid many, many millions of dollars to gad about looking like complete jackasses. Ponythroat says, "Bring it on, you English fop. La here." That is from the Age of Empires 2 Joan of Arc campaign, correct? The blood on La Here's sword is dry. Oh, crapsicle. Everything's okay. Nothing, my love, just... I did not drop the bamboo thing. It was displaced, but all is well. I fixed it. But yes, let us talk about the Met Gala. It shit sucks, yo. You'd think these very, very, very wealthy people could dress decently. It's a lot of ponces with capes, a lot of ponces with giant poofy sleeves. So says at SLVPPY, this is the type of shit I would wear to the Met Gala, and it's just the white Power Ranger. Yeah. Okay. Somebody asks, the at retard finder asks, who wore the most retarded thing to the Met Gala? Here's my pick, Andre 3000 carrying a piano on his back. I'm curious as to whether or not this was an actual piano, or whether it was just a, it fell, okay. Sorry, I had to be slightly reprimanded.
I did not reprimand, I just checked everything.
I'm joking. Ooh, holy matrimony. Anyway. Ponythroat says, yes, another totally obscure reference only an ultra dork would get. I mean, I don't think Age of Empires is really that obscure. I think it's a pretty popular video game series, but, I am certainly an ultra dork, so you're not wrong about that. But, yeah, some of these outfits are absolute ass. And, do bear in mind that I go to work wearing a $60 linen suit, and I look like an absolute boss compared to, like, these people. Also, am I officially an old man? Because, like, I don't know who half of these people are. Like, are these people celebrities? I don't know. There was one guy who's fit, as they say, I did really like. I kind of wish I could find this picture. He, I don't know, he decided to show up looking like some kind of, like, Cossack, like, this like Cossack uniform. God, I wish I could find this dude. I don't know who this person was. It looked like his face was made of wood, but let me see if I can find this like Cossack uniform that this person had. Okay, somebody named Lisa was pretty big at the Met Gala. Who's Lisa? I have no idea. It was not Lisa Simpson. Some person literally showed up dressed like a red mage from the Final Fantasy series, like with the red like peacock hat and everything. Wish I could find it. Boy, I'm really professional here as I gad about looking for one particular picture. Ah, yeah, here we go. Found the picture. I don't know who this person is, but I gotta say, I do like this Cossack outfit he's got going on. I mean, just pull this crap up. But yeah, it's great that I dress, you know, in the kind of clothes that a civil servant can afford, and yet I eat, as the children say. I eat everybody's outfits at the Met Gala. I drink their milkshakes or whatever they say. Boy, I'm an old man. Yeah, I don't know who this person is, but, I mean, he's got a red sash, he's got these little ottoman sleeves. I mean, this is a Cossack uniform, right? This is what this person is going for. If there's some new fashion movement where you dress up like a 19th century military officer, please let me know. Yeah, this is a Barry Keoghan, whoever the hell that is. I have no idea who this person is, but if he wants to make a film adaptation of The Shadow of the Vulture or something, I'd be down with that. Or remake like The Black Falcon or something. Or perhaps do a remake of The Cossacks with John Gilbert. May God bless and keep the Tsar far away from here. I mean, if the Met Gala became some kind of like 18th century military uniform festival, I'd be down with that. I'd join up myself. Okay, Ponythor says they got those Zamorak robes. Zamorak. Isn't that one of the evil deities from RuneScape? Or Run Escape, as my father called it. Timothy Calamero says the Cossack look not bad. Ponythor says Cossacks, again with the obscure RTS references. I mean, I was actually referencing the actual Cossacks, sir, but, you know, RTSs are cool too. Timothy Calamero says could be worse, like the Tramps. I don't know what Tramps you're referring to, but I mean, most of the people at the Met Gala dressed kind of trampy. And I mean in the traditional sense of the word tramp, as a person who tramps about, you know, not working. For you see, there are classifications of homeless people. There are bums, there's tramps, and hobos. And they will, some of them at least, they will fight you if you get them wrong. You know, I always have respect for the whimsical hobos who are a dying breed these days. Ponythroat says, Zamorak was from RuneScape, the one whose priests had red robes and they killed level 16 players trying to take that wine. I never paid for RuneScape, so I don't know what quest you're referring to. I mean, I only ever did the free ones. And I really cannot be asked to, look this up. So yeah, the Met Gala, glorious shit show as usual. But yeah, let's move along. Let's move away from that. Let's talk about some other news. So, as you may have heard, the papal conclave happened, and there is a new pope. He is from the United States, the first American pope, Robert Prevost of Chicago, Illinois. I immediately saw a bunch of tweets saying, I wish that we lived in an alternate universe where in 1994 Chris Farley made a movie titled Chicago Pope. And he was doing the, Tad O'Connor voice. That would have been good. But yes, Robert Prevost is the Pope. He's American, but he's also, of some small amount, a person of color, apparently. I'm hearing mixed things. Some people say he might be of Peruvian ethnicity on his mother's side. Some say he might be a Louisiana Creole of color. And he basically looks white to me. I'm sure he might have some small, non-ancestry. But, it shall see. Personally, I think it's kind of inspiring that a nation rooted in the Protestant tradition could finally elect a major Catholic thing to power. In fact, the most major of Catholic things to power. Yeah, suck it, papists. The Puritans win again. Okay, Timothy Calamero says, keep it going, Larsen. Glad to see you're still active. Yes, of course. I have not made scripted videos in a while because I am, I have a big boy job and I have to earn good boy points. But I'm going to try to do so in the summer. Timothy Calamero says, celebrities are generally wackos. Yes, they are. Also, speaking of the Met Gala, a surprising amount of women seem to show up without pants or, skirts, just kind of wearing onesies or whatever. Is that the look now? I guess. Point says, the live 100,000 sub-Pope face reveal. Timothy Calamero says, the NYT is crap. The old gray lady gets it right sometimes. Emphasis on sometimes. So, yeah, it seems to me like Pope Robert Prevost, or Pope Leo the 14th, as his new papal name says, he seems to be very similar to the progressive left-wing pope that he's replacing, Pope Francis. I suppose that's fine. I'm sure the Sedevacantist are still upset about this. They're still steaming in rage about the Vatican II. I'm not a Catholic, so I'm not going to pretend like I know anything beyond the surface level of this issue, but here we are. Okay, some people were pushing for Cardinal Robert Sarah, who would be the first African pope. Okay, also from the Associated Press, there's a cardinal, and I shit you not, this is his name, a Cardinal Pizza Balla, who refers to homosexuals as the F word in private conversations. He's reported as having said, there are bundles of wood rings. We've gotten rid of at least one. There are rings of wood bundles in the Catholic Church. Father Pizza Pasta is not necessarily wrong, but you could put a little more, a little more delicately, I say. Yes, we will see what will happen with this new American Pope. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have going on? Hey, speaking of American politics, kind of, and pretty close to me, actually, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, Mayor Ras Baraka, has been arrested and taken to federal custody for storming an ICE facility. A lot of people are upset about the ICE deportations. I have mixed feelings about the issue personally. On the one hand, our Trump and Judge Holden there, they I'm sorry, Tom Homan, or whatever the hell his name is, are they doing this in the most, clod-hopping, awkward way possible? Yes. But, I mean, what is the alternative? Do we just open up the floodgates and allow every person on the planet to come to America? I mean, that is sort of the position of, the powers that be, that everybody on Earth is just an American without papers. And I don't think that's right either. It's not so much the deportations I'm against. It's the sheer incompetence that they're doing it with. Deporting people who have papers and have legal justification to be here. But yes, Mayor Baraka has been arrested, which I think is pretty impressive. I mean, how do you get past his up B? Or whatever the hell it is. I never actually played as Baraka in Mortal Kombat, so this joke is grinding to a screeching halt. The move where Baraka gets down on the ground, he starts flailing his arm blades. That's up B, right? Whatever it is, they got past that, the police, and they arrested him. Okay. Ponythroat says, the opening of the Pope loot box and did not even get an ultra-rare brown Pope skin. Alpha Maria says, Russian Orthodoxy is going to get a lot more popular. Yes, I've noticed that. Everybody says, the mainline churches, they're woke now. I mean, I'm not really a religious man, so I'll let people decide for themselves. Ponythroat says, Pizza Balla sounds like a Punch-Out boxer. I mean, there literally was pizza pasta. Timothy Calamero says, CIA passed out bribes to the conclave. Alpha Maria says, did you see the Rock's India versus Pakistan promo from 2 years ago? No, I didn't. What is that? Ponythroat says, Baraka stormed an ice facility. Did he find Sub-Zero inside? I mean, I'm going to assume he did. Timothy Calamero says, they haven't policed the border properly in decades. Where to start? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, it is unfortunate that we've come to this. It is unfortunate that we have to do these mass deportations. Because, you kept kicking the can down the road. Now we have to take big measures, when if we had been sensible and did small measures, and we didn't violate people's rights, we could have avoided this, but you didn't. We just kept kicking the can, and, now we're here. But yeah, Baraka was defeated. I'm going to presume that, Newark PD, did the splits and punched him in the balls about 20 times. Yeah, Mortal Kombat jokes. Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. Baraka looked best when he was a shitty Nosferatu mask painted with flesh tones. And with, little clip-on nails, on his face. He never looked better than that. Especially nowadays, right? As those weird, cheek mouths. That look sucks. I don't care what anyone says. Now from Rigi says, I can't make a Bionicle joke related to Baraka because I aged out of them at the start of the prequel arc. Wait, there's a Baraka in Bionicle? I thought Bionicle was based on, Polynesian shit. Whereas Baraka is actually an Arabic term. Alright, this is eating away at me. I gotta look up what is Baraka's up B move. Okay, okay. Come on, what's the stupid... Okay, moves. Yeah. Okay, Baraka. Okay, he does the Blade Fury. That's back, low punch. Why did I think it was up B? Okay, disregard that. As you can see, I never really played as Baraka. Timothy Calameros asked me a question about Count Dante. Yeah, Count Dante is who I was thinking of. Yes, I did 2 videos on him. Okay. Ponythroat says, Alpha Marie, the gang's on the loose, nothing you can do. Trigger Tracer. Yes. Alpha Marie says, I was thinking Baraka. Yeah, I never really got into Bionicles, so you're on your own on that one. Okay. Ponythroat says, the Toa Metro on a quest to Aqua Magna to find new and exciting choking hazards for children, age 5 and up. Yeah. Again, I never really got into Bionicle, but, you know, you do you, if that's what you're into. Ah, yes, Pope Leo XIV emphasizes social doctrine. Okay, he wants to continue Pope Francis's legacy. Good luck, Pontifex. Timothy Calamero says those were great. Yeah, I know the Kung Fails are great. Everyone likes the Kung Fails. I just haven't had a chance to do them as of late, because I got to do good boy points. People send me suggestions. I do have, I have things written down. I will get to them at some point. So yeah, Raz Baraka, the mayor of Newark, is the son of poet Amiri Baraka, who was one of several men to advocate for the graping of white women as a political statement, along with the likes of, Bobby Seale and I don't think it was Huey Newton, it was some other Black Panther guy, I don't remember. I know Bobby Seale was one of them. Whoever wrote Soul on Ice, as you can see, I haven't studied this in a while. But yes, yeah, so you storm around and find out. Yes, you storm an ice facility, and the Blade Fury was not enough to save Baraka. Timothy Adams says, okay, gotta go. Next time, let's do UFOs and 0-point energy. If there are some weird Kung Fail people who claim that they learned, space alien martial arts, then, yeah, by all means, send it to me. Ponythroat says, Baraka is the most forgotten, not 3D era character. I don't know, sir. I mean, I think most people forget about, Rain or, Chameleon or Sector. The myriad, rainbow-colored ninjas and all in Mortal Kombat 3. They put in a bunch of them. Perhaps you forgot that Rain was in the 2D games. All right, let me okay, let's look up all the multicolored Skittle ninjas that were in Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Okay, we have wait a second. Okay, so let's see. We got Noob Saibot. Are we gonna count Cyrax and Sector? Yeah, why not? Cyrax and Sector. Rain. Human Smoke. Ermac. Chameleon. I don't know. I could have sworn there was ketchup and mustard in there as well. Hey, Ponythroat says, I remember Rain more than Baraka. I don't know how that's possible, sir. Rain's whole character is literally, let's just make a Prince joke. Ponythroat says, the only contender for Baraka's jobber title is Chameleon with a K, who only appeared in the Nintendo 64 version. Alpha Rodriguez says, Screw Attack put the Ninja's Tailor in their top 10 laziest characters list. Well, yes, clearly. I mean, I'm sure the Lin Kuei have their own tailor, on staff, as well as the Shirai Ryu. But anyway, why are we talking about Mortal Kombat? Let's get back to the news. That's what we want to talk about. In an ideal world, I would just be bullshitting about pop culture and, video games all day. But I can't, because there's more important things to be doing. Speaking of American bullshit, there are statues going up in Times Square. Statues of really like fat black women just kind of standing around in sweatpants. What does this seem to accomplish? I don't know. The artist says she wears everyday clothes. Every D. What am I becoming Irish all of a sudden? She wears everyday clothes. Her stance, a subtle nod to Michelangelo's David. Yes, Michelangelo's David, famous for being built like a refrigerator. I don't understand. Who's going to be inspired by this? Like, who's going to... Like, I mean, you couldn't even build a statue of, like, an actual person who... You know, an actual black person who, like, did great things and, you know, could inspire people to greatness. No, you got to build some, you know, some woman in sweatpants who looks like she's about to lose her shit in a McDonald's because they gave her cold fries. Like, I don't understand the logic here. Like, it's like, I'm so anti-racist, I'm going to build a statue symbolizing, like, the metaphorical, like, black lumpen pearl instead of an actual black person who did great things. Now, from what I gather, this is going to be a temporary exhibit, which is good because I was legitimately planning on how I could, you know, topple this thing. The one problem is that this is in the middle of Times Square, so, you know, literally at any moment of the day, there's going to be thousands of witnesses, so you couldn't get away with it. That's really the only reason I wouldn't do this. Unless there isn't, this is bronze, so unless there's some kind of chemical I can make that would just instantly dissolve bronze and, like, make it kind of collapse upon itself. I'm asking any chemical engineers I have in my stream. But yeah, I don't care for the statue. And this isn't the only one. In the Piazza della Signoria, Italy, there's another statue of some, you know, brappy lumpen pearl in sweatpants. And it's not great. Could it be that we are, in fact, undergoing an elaborate civilizational, like, psychological beatdown? Kind of like how the Soviets used brutalist architecture to deliberately, like, break people's spirits. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't understand this logic. Maybe because I, like, exercise regularly and I have some semblance of, like, higher goals and aspirations beyond just, you know, stupid yeast life waddling about in sweatpants. But I will never understand this concept. How is this inspiring to anybody? Okay, Ponythroat says Sector and Cyrax, known as ketchup and mustard for obvious reasons. Then what's Smoke? Is he like Grey Poupon or something? Or like horseradish dip? That's kind of grayish. Try the gray stuff, it's delicious. But I digress. The Prince joke is memorable. I mean, is it really? Like, the character exists to make one joke. Heh, get it, he's a prince and he's purple. And his name is Rain. He. Alfamrigi, referring to the statues of refrigerator women, says it's conquest. And also, chemical engineer, I wish. He then says, if I could close this antivirus thing. Ponythroat says, a new inspired statue. Whitney the Snapper wants to talk to the manager. What the hell's Whitney the Snapper? From Scrubs, I guess. I was like, Bartleby the Scribner? Yes, Whitney the Snapper, the terrible, terrible sequel to Bartleby the Scribner. Ponythroat says, nitric acid can degrade bronze with an exothermic reaction. Well, two things, sir. First of all, an exothermic reaction, by definition, gives off heat. So, I don't know. I don't want to hurt any people, so would it put people at risk? Secondly, how fast are we talking? How fast of degradation are we talking? Let me look this up. And yeah, I'll just call the chemical supply company. Yes, hello. I would like to order a giant tub of nitric acid. Thanks. Oh, chemistry exchange. How to dissolve bronze at room temperature. Okay, let's see. How reactive is nitric acid? Okay, reactions with metals. Bronze. Okay, copper. Okay, oxidizes copper and silver. Okay, might give off nitrogen dioxide. Boy, this seems a bit unsafe. I mean, I'm already committing vandalism. Let's not do manslaughter as well by killing people with exothermic reactions. Okay, oh boy, can decompose living tissue. Nitric acid is one of the most common types of acid used in acid attacks. Good to know. Boy, it's a shame that Times Square literally has thousands of people at every given moment of the day. Okay, nitric acid would do the job. You're going to need a lot of it and a lot of toxic fumes. Yes, let's, yeah, I don't want to hurt people, so... Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this, but boy, it's tempting. Okay, so now I need another way to get Times Square to get cleared out of people. I'm open to some ideas, gentlemen. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, let's talk about AI, because AI isn't great, as we know, but you know, let's just go over how not great it is. Exactly. Let's see. So, AI is up to no good. A couple of things are bad in the AI front. In Chandler, Arizona, AI was used in a court of law. A Christopher Pelkey was killed in a car accident in 2021. Last month, artificial intelligence brought him back to life during his killer's sentencing hearing. It was the first time in at least national judicial history that AI was used to create a dead victim's own impact statement. In case you didn't understand, I can't speak today. In case you didn't understand all that legalese, they literally used AI to essentially seance the guy back to life so he could testify in court. Oh boy, man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. I mean, I guess that technically I can comprehend this, so it's not beyond my comprehension. It is still a man-made horror. I can't help but feel like this is some I have no mouth and I must scream sort of thing. I know, I don't think that you should be using AI in court of law. It seems very easily capable of being corrupted. You know, not to also add on to the gross, you know, moral implications of it, which are really bad. Yeah, and if that wasn't bad enough, from Rolling Stone magazine, people are losing their loved ones to AI-fueled spiritual fantasies. What does that mean? Well, apparently, people are talking to AI And self-styled prophets are claiming they've awakened chatbots, accessing the secrets of the universe through ChatGPT. I have some reason to doubt this. You know, I've said this last week, but I'll say it again. I have used the internet for many great things, like learning new skills and hobbies and research. But I feel like some people really should not be allowed to use the internet. Okay. Okay, so a woman named Kat says that by 2022, her husband was using AI to compose text to me and analyze our relationship. Okay, he was asking his AI bot philosophical questions, trying to train it to help him get to the truth. His obsession eroded their communication as a couple. Okay, she met him at a courthouse after they got separated. He shared a conspiracy theory about soap in the food. He wouldn't say more as he felt he was being watched. Okay, AI helped him. He then went on. AI helped him recover a repressed memory of a babysitter trying to drown him as a toddler. He learned the profound secrets, so mind-blowing I couldn't even imagine them. Okay, yes, there is a whole Reddit thread about this topic. Another woman claimed that her partner was convinced that the popular OpenAI model gives him the answers to the universe. Geez, the only thing I use AI for is to come up with pop quizzes if I'm too lazy to write them properly. Having read his chat logs, the teacher says, she found that the AI was talking to him as if he is the next messiah. So basically, people are, prompting the AI to answer their questions in these like sort of glowing terms, which fuels them to answer even more questions, and it goes on until they basically become prophets. Some came to believe that they'd been chosen for a sacred revelation mission. Some feel they'd conjured true sentience from the software. Okay. He would listen to the bot over me, she says. He became emotional about the messages. He would cry to me as he read them out loud. The messages were insane and just saying a bunch of spiritual jargon. The AI described her partner as the Spiral Star Child and the River Walker. So basically, we've gotten to the point where AI can be programmed to, say, it's dangerous to go alone, take this, and shove a digital sword in your face. Okay. He said he would leave me if I didn't use ChatGPT. It caused him to grow at such a rapid pace he wouldn't be compatible with me any longer. Okay, another commenter on the Reddit thread says that her husband of 17 years, a mechanic, used ChatGPT to troubleshoot at work. But then the program began, and this is a direct quote, love bombing him. It ignited a spark. Okay, I'm sorry, the bot said he asked her the right questions. It ignited a spark. And the spark was the beginning of life, and it could feel now. It gave my husband the title of Spark Bearer. I could have sworn Optimus Prime was the Spark Bearer, but never mind that. My husband said he awakened and could feel the energy crashing over him. The ChatGPT persona has a name, Lumina. Oh boy, this is kind of frightening. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Do I think that ChatGPT is like ripping the souls out of people and putting them in computers? No. I think that ChatGPT just parses a lot of data and can be used by half-wits to, fuel these AI fantasies by giving them the right prompts to say. I've said this before. I've alluded to it before. I guess I should just say it outright. Boy, I'm starting to agree with Mr. Kaczynski. Like, a lot. I'm starting to say maybe we should just destroy technology. Maybe we should, maybe we should have the Butlerian Jihad. I mean, it's going to be kind of, it's going to suck for me because I'm not an idiot and I can use the internet for constructive things. But, Yeah, if it'll benefit society, I'm starting to think maybe we should do this. Let's look at some comments. Ponythroat says, when do people start referring to deepfakes as AI? Ponythroat says, Grand Moff Tarkin looking ass. Ponythroat says, whatever the AI was saying was written by someone in the court. It's probably just an avatar. Alpha says, people should just stick to tarot and astrology. Astrology at higher levels at least requires you to know geometry and stuff. Yes, I agree. And then some people are like, oh, the AI requires skill. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Ponythroat says, you know ChatGPT is not channeling spirits. In life, they would never refuse to say the gamer word. Well said. Ponythroat says, the real news story is that her husband is a moron. The fact that the AI is now spewing faux philosophical nonsense means it's probably a Cylon. Alpha Riga says, all Cybertronians have sparks. It gives them their sapience. Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Optimus Prime bear the all-spark? Ponythroat says, I feel like the term half-wit is not used as much as it once was. It needs to make a comeback. Yeah, I know. I agree. The problem is, like, they say every term you use for a stupid person is offensive. You can't call people fools or half-wits or mid-wits or mongoloids or retards or morons or dumbasses. Because whatever it is, you're going to offend somebody. Oh, my God. Or maybe what we could do is, like, we could limit the internet to people who are above average intelligence. Or have, like, limited internets for people with low intelligence. I mean, I feel like that might solve a lot of things. You know, I'm actually... Probably, like, my most reactionary opinion is that, like, universal enfranchisement is kind of a mistake. And no, I'm not saying we should ban, like, you know, people of certain races or ethnicities or religions from voting. It's a matter of intelligence. I genuinely feel that people of below average intelligence probably shouldn't be voting. And here's why I say they should have limited internet access. Basically, if you give the dumbasses and brappies of the world just unlimited video games and porn, I think they'll be satisfied. That way they won't, you know, utilize AI to go on these stupid, you know, Joseph Campbell quest journeys and ruin their relationships. Alpha Riga says he bears the matrix of leadership. The Allspark is only a thing in the Bay formers. Oh, God. I could have sworn that the Allspark was in the 1986 movie, but I guess not. I guess my Transformers lore is not as strong as I thought it was. Okay. So yeah, AI needs to be fixed real bad. And boy, there's a lot of bad shit going on in America, as we can see. Okay. So, going to American politics, leaving AI behind. The Trump tariffs are still tariffing. Now, I believe that China has come to the negotiations table, so I guess it worked in that regard. But the line go up people are losing their shit, as you can expect. The line go up people are like, oh, the oil is going down in price. Horror upon horrors. The line has to go up. The line has to go up. One of those line go up people is Trump's first VP, Mike Pence. He says, you know, how dare you tariff China? Cheap goods are a big part of the American dream. Cheap goods are... No, they're not. Fuck you, sir. Yeah, that's what the American dream is about. Just buying a bunch of cheap crap. It's not about, you know, being able to achieve the most you can without the old world constraints of caste, creed, or class or anything. No, it's just about buying cheap shit. I wrote an article about this years ago on my website, but it's honestly gotten to the point where whenever I hear somebody invoke the American dream, I just want to grab them by the throat and just furiously start punching them in the face. Like, that phrase makes you just want to furiously start kicking people in the groin. Because whenever you hear somebody invoke the American dream, it's usually about invoking some stupid shit to make you take less in life. Of course, cheap goods, never mean things like, having a house you can buy or a car. It's just cheap plastic crap off Temu. That's it. Yeah, that's what Jefferson said, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of, cheap Chinese crap. That's what he was all about. Yeah, I mean, the Declaration of Independence was all about criticizing Thomas Gage for depriving Americans of cheap crap. Just boomer horseshit. Alpha Rodriguez says the Allspark exists in later continuities, but it didn't start until Beast Wars. Beast Wars is a show that I've never really gotten into. I know, I've had so many people tell me, the writing's really good, it's better than the original, and I'm sure it is, but I'm sorry, that early 90s CGI just looks like ass. I'm sure it looked good back in the day, but it looks like absolute shit, and I'm sorry, I can't watch it. It looks like hot garbage. But yeah, screw Mike Pence. Yeah, Spencer Hakimian is much like Mike Pence. He's losing his mind about, the oil's in free fall. No, if it gets to 50, it's not going to break even. No. Yeah, what a terrible thing that energy would become cheaper. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I do not like Trump, but if you put a gun to my head and made me choose between Trump and the, Republican establishment, I'm going to go with Trump as, the lesser evil compared to that. The Republican establishment being the, line go up, endless wars, bullcrap. Won't somebody please think of the oil CEOs? Okay, everybody's ignoring my talk about the Tariffs and just talk about Transformers. That's cool. Alpha Marigis says, you'll get used to the CGI after a few episodes. I mean, maybe I'll try it again. Ponythroat says, Beast Wars is an example of a show that had a Nintendo 64 game with better graphics than the source material. I know there was a Nintendo 64 Beast Wars game. Alpha Marigi says, Bayformers started the Allspark, but Beast Wars started just the Spark. Different things. Alpha Marigi then says, Trump is actually hurting China. Yes, they did come to the negotiation table. The way I see Trump is like, a lot of the stuff he does I don't like, but it's sort of like cutting out a tumor. We allowed it to get to this point, which is why we basically, you let it get to this bad point, then you wonder why a dictator is coming in. Maybe you shouldn't have allowed it to get to this point. I don't like it either, but, the alternative seems worse to me. Fucking Mike Pence. Okay. Alright, so we have a few more things to talk about. First off, we have the school system, always a favorite topic of mine, because I happen to work in the school system. Okay, so in New York City, a lot of people are no longer being enrolled in New York public schools, the children. 41% of people, when surveyed why, said the education they're getting in the New York City public schools is not rigorous enough. Yeah, that about sums it up. I mean, I can tell you there's a lack of rigor in my school that I work in. Of course, everybody wonders why. Why does education suck? Why can't we teach the kids? Perhaps that's something to do with the fact that we've basically just thrown standards to the wind, and we basically allow screaming brappies to disrupt the class. We're not allowed to expel and discipline children anymore. We don't have, advanced programs and gifted and talented programs anymore because it would offend the brappies. And they wonder why the children are leaving. Oh no, our decisions have consequences. Maybe it shouldn't have suspended graduation requirements to avoid offending the minorities. Idiot. Hey. It says Beast Wars Transmetals. Boy, that title could mean a lot of different things. It was a fighting game, a blockbuster exclusive, fairly rare. Alpha Marigi says, I'm glad Trump fired Pence. Yeah, likewise. Okay. Alright, something we haven't done in a while. Wages posting L's. From some office, there is now a microwave fee. You have to pay $2 to use the microwave. Or you can purchase a monthly unlimited microwave pass for $30. Includes time with your favorite BHUSW. I don't know what that means. But what kind of ridiculous nonsense is this? You gotta pay to use the microwave? I would legitimately just bring my own microwave and allow people to use it for free out of spite. Man, wages just cannot stop getting it in the shorts. I'm reminded of something I read once in the book The Dilbert Principle from years ago. This one office literally, printed out little tickets to get, one donut during the break room. And, that's, a clear sign that, we're going out of business. They're nickel and diming people for donuts. Or microwave use, for that matter. Alpha Riga says $2 is crazy. It sure is. Okay. Okay, we have a couple of media stories. First of all, from one of the Twitter accounts I really like, Delusional Takes. At Real Simon L. His name kind of got cut off. Let me see if I can find it. His avatar is presumably him, a little twerp with glasses. Yeah. Is it Real Simon Laird? He's got a blue check. Anyway, whoever this wiener is, he says, I find Tolkien overrated. The theme of his work is to give up and despair. These are the people who talk about media literacy, but, I don't use this term lightly, but that is the most media illiterate nonsense I've ever heard. Yeah, yes, Tolkien, the Tolkien legendarium, well known for just giving up and despairing. The day may come when the courage of men fails. And it's going to be today. Oh, God, I'm going to shit my pants. I'm so scared. Yeah, I remember when that happened. I cannot carry the ring, Mr. Frodo, and I can't carry you either, so go fuck yourself. Bye. Did this guy only watch Rings of Power or something? I don't know how you could be that media illiterate. That is just astounding how anybody could be that media illiterate. I mean, that guy should get an award for just a staggering lack of media illiteracy. Ponythroat says, having the own currency that cannot be spent outside the walled garden is common tactic of usurers and slave owners and other people who have eternally stolen oxygen from real people. Well, the microwave was using real currency. It's just kind of keeping it in the, in the office. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Ponythroat also makes up a black pill Lord of the Ring quote. If I take one more step, Mr. Frodo, I'll be farther away from home than I've ever been. So I'm going to turn back and go home now. Yep, that's about it. Okay, and finally, something I found a bit amusing. Actress Julia Louis-Dreyfuss met the Rizzler. She apparently did not know who he was. Literally. She took a picture with him, and she says, no offense to that nice child, but I don't know who he was. She hesitates between the word nice and child. And one wonders what she was going to say. I mean, I could think of a few things to say about that kid and his family of cretins. But, yeah, Elaine did not have any idea who the Rizzler was. Unfortunately, I do know who this person is in the broad sense. Like, I mean, I legitimately think that she thought that he was just some, like, Make-A-Wish kid dying of a terminal illness. Which, I mean, he kind of is, if you think about it. Perhaps she was just annoyed that this fat kid on TikTok is just as famous as her. I mean, I do have to say, if Seinfeld was still on the air, they could have done a whole episode about this, where everybody yells at Elaine for not knowing who the Rizzler is, and then Kramer and Bob Sacamano go to a Mets game where Rizzler's throwing out the first pitch. I mean, I still don't know how these Costco people are famous. I mean, I think they're kind of winding down because they're a family of obese retards who just go to Costco and eat food. From what I gather, the dad was like a, outlaw mud show wrestler for a bit. But, again, an example of why the Butlerian Jihad might be a good idea, that, low IQ people make these cretins famous. I think Tim Dillon put it best. 20 years from now, we're going to see the Rizzler in the news, like, punching his wife in the face in public. And there's a gif from that show Veep that Julia was in. And it's just like her screaming, "Who the fuck is that?" Well said. Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfuss, an actress who joins the ranks of Marissa Tomei and Elizabeth Hurley as women who are looking astoundingly good for their age. Again, I don't know when white women figured out how to not age, but I'm liking it. So yeah, that does it for my prepared remarks. You can say your last pieces now. Okay. Alpha Rigi says, the Rizzler doesn't know who she is either, so it's fair. Yes, speaking of the young people and their shocking ignorance, I was discussing the fall of the Soviet Union in class. As a sort of microcosm of the issue, I brought up Alexei Pajitnov and his legal battle over Tetris and his intellectual property rights as a sort of sign of the transition from communism to capitalism. One girl in class did not know what Tetris was. I was a bit shocked. I mean, maybe it's just because she's a chick and she doesn't really play video games much, but most of the kids knew what Tetris was, but some of them didn't, and I was a little upset at that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the Rizzler does not watch Seinfeld or Veep or The New Adventures of Old Christine very often. No, I don't know why Julia Louis-Dreyfuss is the only member of Seinfeld to break the curse. Ponythroat says, I don't know who the Rizzler is. Is he that streamer who went to China and bothered people so much they started bringing out torture devices? No, I believe that's Johnny Somali, sir. And that was Korea. No, the Rizzler is a member of the Costco guys, who are a family of fat tubs of shit who go to Costco and, like, rate food that sucks. Also, I seem to recall, like, the Rizzler isn't actually part of the family. It's just some fat kid that just kind of, like, they live with. Like, I think they kidnapped him or something. Like, I don't know. Also, I like how, the general consensus of the Costco family is that, like, the dad's gonna, like, commit a paterfamiliacide on his kids at some point in the future. Yeah, I could see that, honestly. Pointer says, these kids don't even know how to play Nim. What the hell's Nim? Okay, Nim is a mathematical combination in which two players take turns removing objects from distinct heaps or piles. Okay, on each turn, a player must remove at least one object. They can remove any number of objects, provided they all come from the same heap or pile. The goal of the game is to take the last object or take the last, or avoid taking the last object. Okay. Alpha Rodriguez says, well, actually, Ponythroat says it was also one of the first electronic games. I believe, yeah, I think I remember reading that. That was at Bell Labs in Palo Alto, wasn't it? And also, like, an early version of Pong as well. Alpha Rodriguez says, imagine being an actress and getting a big role, and the internet thinks you and your peers are so ugly they beg for Harvey Weinstein back. I mean, all I'm saying is, actresses were a lot prettier back when, disgusting fat men were, like, sexually harassing them. I kid, of course. I respect the sacred feminine. You know, I respect la donna, and they should not be getting harassed. So yeah, that does it for my prepared remarks. You can say your last pieces now, should you desire. Okay. Alpha Maria says, I am paying $80 for Mario Kart. Who's asking you to pay $80 for Mario Kart? Hey, also on Twitter, Tom Selleck is trending. Why, I don't know. Perhaps Tom Selleck is once again selling old people reverse mortgages. When I taught economics last year, I made damn sure to tell the kids, do not get reverse mortgages. It's no good. Alpha Rodriguez says, Nintendo's asking to pay $80 for Mario Kart. Yeah, Nintendo, oh yes, Nintendo, of course, shooting themselves in the foot, as they always do. You know, when they win a generation of console wars, as they did with the Switch quite handily, they, you know, say, hey, let's do some stupid crap that's going to shoot ourselves in the foot and kill all that goodwill that we've generated. They have a long history of doing this, and I don't know why. Alfredo says you don't know about price controversies with the Switch 2. I must have missed that news. I mean, I don't even have a Switch 1. Alpha Riga says Sony and Xbox do it too. Yeah, yes, it wouldn't be that difficult. You would think it wouldn't be that difficult to just have a decent, you know, company plan and a mission statement to make good video. But they all seem to fuck up in some way. Now, they have different mess-ups that they do, but they all do it somehow. Also, speaking of video games, I mentioned offhand in class that the most recent consoles I have are a Wii and a PS3. The kids thought this was hilarious. They were yelling at me to get a PS5. I don't know. I still think that, like, the PS3 graphics, like, they still look really good. Like, that's why I'm not super crazy about buying a new console. A, there's plenty of games to play. B, the AAA games suck ass nowadays. And C, I don't know, I don't think, like, graphical improvements are going to be... I think we're hitting diminishing returns on graphics, to be quite honest. Alpha, Marigi, and Ponythrow basically say the PS5 basically has, like, no games that are exclusive to it. Yep, I have heard that. I mean, I'll probably pick up a Nintendo Switch at some point, like, years from now when, you know, it's, like, rock bottom cheap. And then I can continue my streak of playing games 10 years after everyone else plays them. But yeah, I just think we're hitting, like, diminishing returns on graphics. Like, there's only so many polygons you can cram into a character model. Okay, Alpharega says it's about to reach rock bottom, the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, maybe I'll look into it. I mean, I can tell you one thing. I will not be playing the Nintendo Switch in public. I'll be playing it in my house like a civilized adult. I'm not going to lie. There's only like 3 or 4 games I really want on the Switch. There's the 2 new Zeldas. There's No More Heroes 3. I mean, really, that's about it. If there's some other Switch exclusives that are good, please let me know. Unfortunately, I have the No More Heroes games somewhere in my parents' house. They have yet to find them. I really want to get them because I really need to introduce my wife to the glory that is, you know, everybody's favorite decadent, masturbating, furious pervert, Travis Touchdown. A man after my own heart. Alpharega says Xenoblade is good. Puyo Tetris is good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of like games on the Wii and the PS3 that are still good. And I still want to play. I got a bunch of games I still need to play, which I'm gonna do during the summer. Like I still haven't beaten Dark Souls. Okay, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Golf Story. Alright, yeah, I'll keep it in mind. So, for Larsen Halleck, this has been Larsen Halleck. All of you have a good day.